Hello, humans of the earth, and thank you for joining us on this wonderful day. My name is Dana,
And my name is Heidi.
and this is Fun Times with Dana and Heidi. Today we have a lovely hand-selected artisanal selection of positive news stories.
Gourmet.
Yes, gourmet news stories from this week that we are excited to share with you. But first, we have our beautiful tweet of the week. And this tweet, Heidi actually found this tweet. It comes from at
It's so funny.
Alejandro. It says, stocks this, stocks that. When is someone going to invest in me? And this, what made this tweet speak to you, Heidi?
Yeah, well, I always send the best memes to my friends, best memes and best tweets to my friends. The other average ones I just keep to myself. Best memes and best tweets to my friends. The other average ones I just keep to myself. But basically, I don't know if you've heard, Dana, but there's this whole thing with stocks and GameStop. Have you heard of that?
Yes, I'm very aware of how, like, I basically there's like a thread, some sort of like thread or group on Reddit, and then they did it unironically so that the stocks of like their favorite stores like GameStop and like other failing businesses could go up, and the people who betted against them would lose money, and now they're mad, which is
Whoa, can you repeat that? My parents, they were trying to tell me like all about it because they're into finance. My parents, they were trying to tell me like all about it because they're into finance and I'm not. So they were using like all these terminology and I do not understand anything they were trying to
okay.
explain to me. So
Basically,
I know that the stocks like I know that the stocks went up, but I don't even know the details. So please explain.
okay. So what happened is there's a group that's right, and so
You got
these
the
are
deets.
people who are like, huh?
You got the details, like the
Oh
deets.
yes, I got the deets, baby girl. Okay, so this is a group of people called Wall Street Bets, like I guess like a club for lack of a better term, and they
A
like
club.
finance, but they're not like actual. They
A
like
club.
finance, but they're not like actual Wall Street people. They're just like your average person who likes stocks, right? And so the people on Reddit, as you all may know, tend to be kind of like these gamer sort of people, right? And so because GameStop is whatever games you want on your phone or on your computer, so you don't really need to
Yeah.
go all the way to GameStop to purchase some sort of like video game or something. You can just go to like Walmart or Target if you wanted to get like something for the Switch or whatever. So that's why,
Yeah, there's no need for those brick and mortar stores that are
yeah,
specialized for
exactly.
gaming.
So that's
That are
yeah,
specialized for
exactly.
gaming.
So that's why GameStop was failing as a company. So then
Was.
the people on r slash Wall Street Bets said, you know what? We love GameStop. Let's save GameStop. So each person started investing their money back into GameStop, and and it went up and up and up and up, and it started increasing by a lot. And there's these group of people, and I forgot what they were called, but there's these group of people who basically will bet money that a business will fail. So all of the people that
Oh, they're
bet
called short
money,
sellers.
yeah. So all the people that
Short
bet
sellers.
money that money because it's rising because of these random gamer people. And so the people that bet money against them are like mad, and then the people on Reddit are laughing because it's funny. And now
Yes,
they're
all
trying to
these
do
pieces are coming
similar things.
together.
Sorry, what?
All these puzzle pieces are coming together because I knew like all these puzzle pieces are coming together because I knew like fragments of it, how like short sellers and like it went up and it was unexpected and that's all I knew.
Yes. It's all coming together now. It's all coming together in our minds. And so, yeah, and then I think they're also like targeting other failing brands. I forgot which ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're starting to target like other failing brands because they're kind of just doing it as a joke now. And I think that it's very funny and it showcases the vulnerability of the stock market. And so that is where
The
this tweet
power
comes
of
into
social
play.
media.
Yes, the power of social media. So that's where this tweet comes into media. So that's where this tweet comes into play
Mhm.
because there's so much stock going on. When is someone
And I was
going to
so
invest in me?
confused.
I think that this tweet is very creative,
I
very
think I related so much with it. That's why. Because I was just so confused because all my feed was just stock this, stock GameStop, and no, I wasn't even very interested in stocks at the time. So this tweet really, really resonated with me because this is the only like type of stock related thing that I understood.
Yes, and so we can thank who was it that I learned this information from? I think it was Trevor Noah from The Daily Show. I love that man. And also, there's this like oh, I love that man. And also, there's this like app called Robinhood where you can like manage your stock,
Oh, I know about
your
that.
finance. And so they started limiting the number of stocks that you can buy from GameStop to stop it from going up so much, and people got mad because of that. The Reddit people got mad because they're like, "Why are you limiting my?" But yeah, that is the. Is it a scandal? Somewhat, not
The
really.
tea, the scandal.
Yes, the Reddit.
Not necessarily scandal, but like just a little fiasco.
Yes, that's a proper word. The fiasco, the Reddit inspired fiasco that is the current stock market. I think it's funny. Some people think it's bad. I just think it's funny, and I think this tweet is funny also because
I think you explained it really well too. Like
yes.
in very rudimentary terms.
Yes, yes, yes. Here is the breakdown of finance from a girl who knows nothing about finance or knows very little about explained to her properly. But yeah, that's it. And so stocks this, stocks that. So many stocks right now. Who is going to invest in me? We'll see later. So Heidi has our first news story for today, and so Heidi is going to share that with you lovely people.
For sure. Thank you, Dana. And today's news story is quite a bit of a long story because it's kind of like her life story leading up to this one huge moment. So
Mm-hmm.
just bear with me. I promise you, I'm going to give you the full synopsis of what happened. So it and rejected. But now her work is part of the foundation for the COVID-19 vaccine. So, a girl named Kiriko left her home country in Hungary with her husband and young child, and they were very poor. They only had $1,200 stuffed in their daughter's teddy bear.
Oh,
I
that's really
guess that's a really safe way to keep. Because, yeah, no one would want to take a teddy bear with money in it if they didn't know that there was money in it.
mm-hmm.
So, I think that's a great way to hide things,
Yes.
especially
Perfect.
cash.
Yes.
And so now, after years of her work developing the mRNA and RNA technologies, which terms high school biology classes or middle school biology classes, and now because we that technology is being used with a lot of the COVID vaccines, she is the senior vice president for the German pharmaceutical giant BioNTech, and that's a very popular name that you've probably heard once or twice here and there. And her work has received more than 1,200 academic citations. And that is a lot of academic
It
citations.
is. It's a lot. Like not only to like publish a work by itself, that's like a lot of work in its own. And then for people to like recognize your work as something valid or there should be a lot of citations. That's a lot of citations.
Uh huh, I agree. And this isn't even including like word of mouth. This is just pure like hard copy academic citation.
Mm-hmm.
So this girl is really popular. And so after graduating with a PhD in biochemistry from the University of Szeged, this is in Hungarian, that's why I cannot pronounce it properly, she embarked on a research career at the Hungarian Academy of Sciences. Unfortunately, she got laid off for some reason I do not know, and so she had to emigrate to the United States, where she ultimately ended up at UPenn, like she went to school beforehand, I believe. I forgot the name. Something with the word temple. But she ended up at UPenn, and UPenn's a very prominent university here in
Yes.
the United States for our universal listeners or global listeners. Is that what the word is? Yes,
Yes.
global listeners.
International. I think.
International,
Yeah.
international,
Yes, yes,
that's the
yes.
word I
There we
was
go.
looking
There we go.
for. Yeah, so at that time in the late 1900s, mRNA research was very popular, but it declined after she arrived because it was deemed too radical and financially risky to fund and continue. And for those of you guys who do not know, mRNA and that type of like genre, it is a method of using a virus's genetic material to command a human body to duplicate. So proteins is what they're trying to create. So the proteins can fight off viruses in your body so they can recognize it. There's this whole science shebang over it. I'm pretty sure Dana would be able to explain it to y'all a lot better. But yes, I'm kind of like getting into that sciencey world right now with, and Dana's probably like laughing at me.
No, no, no. It's okay. You can continue with the science shebang if you feel the need to do so. We love the science.
Yes,
Oh my
yes,
gosh,
yes.
the tongue twister. The science shebang. We appreciate the
The
science
science
shebang.
shebang. Yeah, I think it's really cool to have like some sort of background information before like you go before you go ahead of yourself, so you have some sort of background to really hold the foundation on. So, yes, proteins are what fights off viruses. Because mRNA research declined and became less popular, she had a lot of failed grant applications that were piling up on her desk, but she was not deterred. This is Keep in mind, this is after she got laid off in Hungary, and then she came to the United States. And then the second time she got laid off, she was in UPenn. So 2 years after she arrived in Philadelphia, she was demoted from her position at UPenn and was then diagnosed with cancer. That's
Ouch.
another.
That's a rough introduction to, well, not an
I
introduction, but a rough
know.
like situation to be
Rough
in.
life.
And after so much like work, you're just presented with a bunch of failure. That's so sad.
Better, I promise. So she was telling a health news site in November, usually at that point, people just say goodbye and leave because it's so horrible. I thought of going somewhere else or doing something else. I also thought maybe I'm not good enough, not smart enough. And that's a really for someone else. And I think those struggles just come with succeeding. And last episode I believe we had a quote that was saying mistakes are proof that you're trying, so do not let those feelings and those people tear you guys down. And this is exactly what happened to her. She didn't let those people tear her down. So in 2012, her and another immunologist named Drew Weissman were able to receive their patents for their mRNA technology.
Ooh.
But after receiving yet more trouble from UPenn, so UPenn's just very, very problematic at that point, and I did not know that. So Kirko took a job at BioNTech, and guess what?
What?
It was a German company founded, and perhaps fittingly, it was made by immigrants. So it
Woo!
was company of immigrants for immigrants, and I think that's just amazing. The diversity is real.
That's iconic. I love that for them.
Me too, me too. And biotech partnered with Pfizer, and I'm sure you guys also know that that's a very popular thing going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they were the first company to produce a COVID-19 vaccine. And that vaccine has already protected millions of people already. It's being distributed worldwide, globally, I believe. It's already approved in the United States, and it's going to be approved in so many more places. And I'm very proud of that.
Yay,
So
Pfizer.
Kirko and Weissman, yeah, they were repeatedly underestimated or dismissed or disparaged by Pennsylvania academics, and in Kirko's case, in Hungary. But now they are the most talked names when it comes to future Nobel Peace Prizes, and the Nobel Peace Prize is literally the prize of the prizes.
Yeah, it's like the
It's
prize of the
amazing.
prize, like the biggest honor you could ever receive ever in your life. Ever.
Exactly. Yeah. And this year, they've already scooped up the Rosenthal Award for Distinguished Work in Basic Medicine. So they have succeeded in so many other ways than their obstacles that were given to them. I hope I worded that correctly.
Yes.
Like, they faced a very hard life, but at the end, it was all worth it. And you know what? They're not even dead yet, so they're gonna keep being successful. So a word of note to everyone here is never give up.
Yes, that's called personal growth. That's called character development. You are the main character, and this is your character arc. Fantastic. Very inspirational. I love to see this woman's life progress in many different ways. And she grew as a person, and this is her character arc. This is her story because she is the main character. Go her. Go. What's her name? Kiriko? What's her last name though?
Kariko. I'm pretty sure it's pronounced Kiriko. It might be Kariko or Kariko. I don't know.
Well, for this sake, it's Kiriko. Sorry if we're butchering that. Okay, so moving on to our next news story, we have the postman who started the online craze for nothing other than sea shanties has now quit his job to pursue a career in music. So this requires a lot of background context, as our English teacher would
Yes,
say.
please. What is
So,
a shanty?
yes. So there has been this strange yet intriguing trend of sea shanties on TikTok. And a sea shanty is a type of song that was sung by like pirates or like other sea related people in like not in super ancient times, but like in olden
Pirates
times,
of
in
the
like the
Caribbean.
medieval era. And so sea shanties, out of all things in the world, sea shanties have become the new fad, as the fellow boomers would say, on an app largely run by teenagers and millennials, which seems strange, but at this point, sure. So, the man who we can thank for this very unique trend is 26-year-old Scottish postman named Nathan Evans. And so he started posting in June upon fan request, and later, upon his second video, I believe, he went viral for these ancient tunes. And if you look this guy up on TikTok, his username is Nathan Evans with two S's. It pretty much sounds exactly like how you would expect a sea shanty to sound, because since he's Scottish, he has like a thick like Scottish accent, and there's like harmonies and everything, and there's people that have duetted it. I've seen some videos where like it's an entire orchestra of people. It's like enough people duet the video, or like they join in on the video, so that it's like an entire choir and like a bunch of like violins and stuff, and it's very dramatic and cinematic. And so we love that. And even there's like a fun fact. Even the iconic composer Andrew Lloyd Webber has joined in on this phenomenon. So the man who wrote singing
Whoa.
sea shanties on TikTok. What a time to be alive. I can't think of any other peak in cultural history, in pop culture. So Evan's videos actually ended up becoming so popular on TikTok that he quit his job to pursue a career in music. What kind
You're
of
serious?
I'm not entirely sure. I'm not sure if he's going to be posting sea shanties on Spotify anytime soon. But he did say, if nothing comes of it, that I can go back and continue being a postman. But I thought at the minute I'll seize the moment and see what happens. So good for him. He's using this to his advantage, his 15 minutes of fame, as people would say. And so, yes, Heidi, what do you think of the sea shanty trend?
I love that for him. I have not come across any sea shanties on my For You page, but that might also be because I have been very busy with school. That's probably why. And I googled what a sea shanty was, and it says it's a traditional folk song, so basically what you said. And I think in a way this is like a revival in that type of music because I think it was dying out.
Yeah, it was definitely dying out, and so now it's a musical revival. Have you of like a a new, not the new era, but just a revival, a cultural revival of
A
the sea.
resurrection.
Yes, a resurrection of the sea shanty. We love that. So now moving on to our science talk segment, I'm actually particularly intrigued by this invention.
Me
So,
too.
engineers have designed a new face mask with a test strip to detect COVID-19. And so this project was launched by nano engineers at UC San Diego with a $1.3 million grant. What would you
Jesus.
do with grant? What would you
Jesus.
do with $1.3 million? These people used it for
That's a
science.
lot of money.
$1.3 million is a ton of money. I cannot even visualize it
That's a
in my
lot of
mind.
money.
That is a lot
Because
of
for
money.
this podcast, we were given a $500 grant. $1 million.
1.3 $500, like a fraction of $1.3 million.
Mm-hmm.
$1.3 million is a lot of money, and with that money, these scientists created a small test kit to attach to the front of any mask, which can be mass produced at a cost of about 3 cents per kit. So these strips are incredibly cheap, and they can be attached to the front of your mask. So how do they work? Well, after you breathe through the mask for about 4 to 5 hours, there would be enough particles to determine if you came in contact with the virus throughout the duration of that time, or also if you contracted it. And so, to actually initiate the testing, the wearer, the person that's using the product, would crack like a small package. I think it's called like a blister package. It's like a little drop, and you like kind of crack it. And so you crack that package, and that would immediately coat, which indicates the presence of something called proteases, which are protein cleaving molecules produced from the coronavirus. So basically, you crack that package open, it goes over, it coats the test kit in fluid, and based off of the things that come out of your mouth, it's going to see if you have COVID or not. And so, if you have COVID or not. And so, depending on the results, the strip changes color. So, kind of like a pregnancy test, but for COVID and on your face. So,
Oh, this reminds me of the pH balance strips
yeah,
that you
yeah, the
use.
pH strips, like they change color based on similar to that. So I think that is a very nifty invention, and it might be released before COVID-19 is cured or after COVID-19 is cured. But even then, it would still be a pretty useful tool because I believe it also can detect things like SARS and MERS, which could be helpful in
Perfect.
future if there was ever to happen in like a, I don't know, some sort of future outbreak. That would be really helpful. And so I think this is a very useful invention. And if this does come out before COVID is cured, hopefully COVID is over very quickly. But if it is still this kind of technology, healthcare workers, the elderly, people in schools, teachers that have to wear masks like all the time, all day, that would be really helpful. So, yeah.
Nice news. I love that, Dana. Very news. I love that, Dana. Very COVID related today. And I love that because we are with the times.
Yes.
And now moving on to my news segment. Not news segment, my review segment. Today I will be reviewing matcha. So, matcha is a powder type of Japanese green tea. Coffee is already one of the world's most commonly consumed beverages, especially in the United States.
Oh, yeah.
So, here's some like comparisons, I guess you can say. So, coffee and matcha both have caffeine, but matcha has less caffeine per serving and it lasts longer and it's less.
Caffeine in it. It does.
It does have caffeine. It's
And
really
it's
good
good
too. I'm
because it
actually
lasts
drinking it right
longer
now.
and it's not like, oh, you're on a coffee ride and then you just like become super tired.
Exactly. Yeah, so you know how whenever you drink coffee, you get like a coffee high and it happens very quick and it goes away quickly as well?
Yeah.
Yes, instant energy kick that reduces sleepiness and fatigue. So this happens because your body rapidly absorbs up to 99% of its caffeine, meaning that the compound may reach peak blood concentration levels as soon as 15 minutes after intake. So once absorbed, caffeine can cross your brain barrier and block the receptors of adenosine, and that is a compound with sleep-promoting properties, which can help keep you awake. So if you wake up late for work and you're still sleepy and you need to be awake for work, minutes. And I think that's why it's really popular in the United States and everywhere actually,
Hmm.
because people would like to have things quick because no one has time to wait around for a very, very long time.
Exactly. People like things to be delivered to them fast. That's why we like
Yeah.
things like fast food and fast internet and whatever.
Mhm.
That's why we like
Yeah.
things like fast food and fast internet and whatever. People
Mhm.
want things to work quickly. But matcha is
Yeah, people like
fine with
things on
that.
demand. I thought that it would take matcha to register in your body a lot longer, but it actually is just 30 minutes, and I think that's a pretty good amount of time
Yeah.
because it's so
Hmm.
it lasts longer and it's less aggressive. So your body, especially someone who has a lot of food sensitivities, like for me, I can't drink lactose, I cannot drink anything with grease. I have a very sensitive stomach, which is why I don't drink coffee as often because it gives me gastritis. So I have then moved on to because it gives me gastritis. So I have then moved on to matcha, and this is why I'm writing this wonderful review. So matcha gives my body a chance to slowly adjust rather than just like snapping into it. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I really, really like it because its effects are less aggressive. So here are some more pro relaxation and oral health, and it's easier to make. I know with coffee, people have instant coffee, and that is also very easy to make. But there's some other people that have like French press, like this whole barista in their, like they have a whole Starbucks setup in their house. Do you know what I'm talking about, Dana?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like an entire like setup thing. They have a mini Starbucks.
While that's also cool, like if you love coffee, great, good for you. I'm very proud of you for not having food sensitivities. And it is, but the thing about matcha is that it's more expensive and it's a lot harder to find. Well, not a lot harder to find, but it's a lot easier to find coffee than it is to find a matcha. Well, not a lot harder to find, but it's a lot easier to find coffee than it is to find a matcha.
Mm-hmm.
So they both contain caffeine, like I said earlier, but since coffee has more of it, it stimulates your central nervous system, and it can lead to dependence and addiction. And I saw this YouTuber named of coffee because she became reliant on it, and she had a lot of withdrawal symptoms. And people who try to like wean off of coffee, and some people, I'm saying people, but this doesn't happen to everyone, just some people. But
Yeah,
it's not like very uncommon. This doesn't happen to everyone, just some people. But
yeah.
it's not like very uncommon. It's pretty common, but not everyone experiences it, if that makes
Mhm.
any more clarification.
Yes,
So
thank you for
they
clarifying.
experience unpleasant reactions like insomnia, jitters, increased heart rate, headaches, and anxiety when drinking or withdrawing from coffee. Because we were talking about it before.
What, like coffee problems?
Yeah, like we get like very
Oh
jittery
yeah,
and
yeah. Sometimes, well, it depends on like the type of coffee that it is. Like some coffee for
sugar.
me, like I have to be very tired for me to act like a normal person with on coffee. For me to act like a normal person with on coffee. So like if it's like if I'm already energized and I drink coffee, I will get like very twitchy and jittery and I want to be moving my body all the time and I can't like sit down after doing a marathon or something because I have
Mm-hmm.
so much energy stored in me because of the coffee. But I think like I had coffee recently because I had to get up really early and I was very tired because I didn't get that much sleep that night. And coffee helped me, but it was like in a normal much sleep that night. And coffee helped me, but it was like in a normal pace. So I think it just depends on like the energy that I have prior to that. But also like sometimes like I had Chick-fil-A coffee and that thing hurt my stomach like a lot. Like I don't know why.
Yeah, I think it's because I'm absolutely not a doctor, but it's not just caffeine. I feel like they put a bunch of sugar in it too, and that also adds to the whole symptom type of thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it probably has like a bunch of like milk or I don't know what it has in it, but it did not sit well with me. But you know, it is what it is.
It,
Coffee
it, it is
coffee
what it
has
is.
different effects on everyone, but those are personally has different effects on everyone, but those are personally the effects it has on me.
Yeah, these are just like personal effects, and all this information that I had just said comes from healthline.com if you want to go check that out. But yes, like Dana said, coffee affects everyone differently, so this is just me and Dana's little input. And I decided because for credit, this is just me and Dana's little input. And I decided because for credibility, we need an authenticity and credibility. What's the conformity to truth? It's veracity. What is it? What is that called? I think it's called veracity. Is it? Let me Google that word.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
There you go. Veracity. Okay. So to check the veracity of what I was just saying, I also checked epicmatcha.com and I found out like a little bit more detailed, and this is like kind of closer to Dana Science Talks, but matcha contains L-theanine, and that is an amino acid that helps your body to process caffeine differently. Acid that helps your body to process caffeine differently and create a state of calm alertness. And that's exactly how I feel. Coffee makes me very jittery alertness, and matcha makes me have a calm alertness. And I'm drinking matcha right now, and it's very good. So while one serving of matcha has much less more sustained energy boost with no crash at the end. And this site, like they provided like a whole chart of matcha versus coffee and how it affects your energy. And I thought that was a very interesting chart. So L-theanine also helps improve focus and helps you concentrate. So matcha provides fiber and nutrients that coffee does not, including chlorophyll, vitamin A, and vitamin C.
Heidi, where do you get matcha? Like, I know I've seen it at like Starbucks. It's like matcha something. I don't know. I don't really pay much
You can
stuff.
get it from my house. You
But
can
where
just
do
come
you
over and
like
get
get
it.
it? Like, do you buy it?
Yeah, I buy it. You for sure they sell them online on Amazon because everything's online. But also HEB has it. I believe Walmart has it. And Walmart, TJ Maxx, and Marshalls have it too. And that's where I actually just bought my last box of matcha. But it's pretty common, although it's not as common as coffee. You just need to
Yeah.
look for it. As common as coffee. You just need to
Yeah.
look for it. And just the darker the matcha is, the better. I'll tell you that if you're gonna buy some.
All right. That
It's
sounds
very
good.
good,
That
very
sounds
good.
interesting. Maybe I'll try matcha one of these
It's
days.
delicious. Add it with milk and water and ice, and it's perfect. So I will say though, matcha. I think that's one thing that
Yeah, smell of
coffee
coffee is
beats.
like low key unbeatable. There's people that compare the smell of coffee to the smell of gasoline, but in a good way. I
Jeez,
personally do not
huh?
like the smell of gasoline. I think it's
Me neither.
weird. I feel like
Toxic.
it's like choking my lung. Like
Toxic.
it's like choking my lung, like suffocating my lungs. Like I don't feel like it's a good thing that should be entering my body. But I don't know. Some people like the smell of gasoline better than coffee. Some people say that it smells the
Jeez,
same,
those
or
people
some
are
people
weird.
say that they like the smell of coffee better than the smell of gasoline. And I would be one of those not smell. I mean, does not sit well with me. So
Me neither. It smells toxic.
yeah, it smells like
Kind of
toxic,
like a Sharpie.
unholy things that are not good.
Exactly. Well, thank you, Dana, for providing your input on matcha. I'm glad I have convinced you to try matcha one day. Maybe at my house, maybe by yourself.
We'll see.
And today we will be talking about Demi Lovato's motivational quote. And she said, "Your imperfections make you beautiful, they make you who you are. So just be yourself, love yourself for who you are, and just keep damning Queen." I love that quote. And she had a song come out about it too. What was the name of it? It's new. It's relatively new. Let me
I
see.
I do
Give me.
not know. I know that she released a song or a selection of songs, but I do not know like what it's called specifically. Like I know that
Oh, it's called "I
I know
Love
that Demi
Me." There
Lovato
we
is a
go.
person, but like I don't I like her significance in the music industry, whatever. But I don't like follow up with her like 24/7. So I don't know what the song.
Yeah, the song is called "I Love Me," and it's
There we
really
go.
about self. I like it, so maybe you should go listen to that one day because Demi Lovato promotes confidence. Like,
Yes, and
yes,
positive
acne is
energies.
beauty marks. People get cellulite. It's normal.
Yes, it's normal people. And that brings our episode of Fun Times with Dana and Heidi to a close. So thank you so much for listening to our lovely little rambles here. Follow us on Instagram at FunTimesWDH to get wonderful things like podcast updates, memes, and more. And you can also visit our website, linked in the description, to read more about today's news stories. And so that is all for today, and we hope that you have a wonderful day.